Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us for today's Tuesday with Monday webinar with Plum Consulting. I'm Dee Dee Butler, marketing professional here at Purple Plum, and I'll be your moderator today. So we know that as artificial intelligence sweeps through the real estate industry, every real estate professional is being flooded with the hype. You're told AI will change your business. But up until now, that usually means opening up a separate tab, typing in prompts into chat windows, and copying and pasting text back and forth. It can be clunky, disjointed. Honestly, who has the time? So today, we're going to be cutting through that hype, and we're going to show you how to move away from the theoretical chat windows and bridge the gap by bringing in live contextual workflow automation right into your actual CRM environment inside Monday.com. So to do that, I'm joined by an incredible subject matter expert and webinar presenter, Annie Carney. Annie brings nearly 2 decades of experience working alongside real estate leadership, operators, and agents. She's been a specialist in brokerage operations and multi-market coordination and combines a deep understanding of field workflows with extensive hands-on Monday.com expertise to build highly efficient team solutions. And just for fun, what you probably don't know is that her favorite snack food is salt and vinegar chips, and her favorite song that she likes to sing along with when she hears it is Like a Prayer by Madonna. Annie, it's so great to have you here.
Thanks, Dee Dee. Who doesn't love Madonna? Super excited to dive into this. We've been hearing from so many real estate brokers, incredibly curious about AI and just feeling completely overwhelmed by all of it. So today we're going to show practical workflow success stories.
Great. And to keep this high value and respectful of your time, we're going to be running a rapid fire format. We've gathered the top questions we get asked by real estate professionals in the real estate residential space. And with that, we're going to be covering 4 key segments designed to specifically help you optimize and scale your real estate operations. As you can see on our agenda slide here, we have structured today's session around 3 core pillars. First, under Pillar 1, Speed, we'll look at solving the notorious speed to lead bottleneck with automated email campaigns and instant notifications. Next, Pillar 2, Data, focuses on eliminating manual entry by parsing contracts directly into your boards. Then Pillar 3, Reporting, will show you how to easily roll up all your scattered deal and pipeline data into a single source of truth. Throughout the session, we'll be addressing questions for each of these areas, and Annie is going to answer them by showing you exactly how they function inside Monday.com. Now, before I hand things over to Annie to dive into our first pillar, I have a couple of quick housekeeping items to call out. First, we want this to be as interactive and valuable for you as possible, so to help us tailor the conversation, I'll be launching a few quick polls throughout the session. And when these pop up on your screen, please take a quick second to answer. We'd love to get your input and see where everyone's at in their AI journey. And then second, as you watch the live builds and workflows today, questions are bound to come up, so please don't hold on to them. Go ahead and drop your questions right into the chat at any point during the presentation. I'll be keeping an eye on the chat queue, and we'll have a dedicated time at the very end of the webinar to address all of your questions during our live Q&A. With that out of the way, let's get started. So let's kick off with our first set of questions, which revolve around the lifeblood of real estate, lead response management. Annie, the questions we hear constantly are, can it guide me on where I need to focus my attention today? And can AI actually help me respond to leads faster? How does Monday.com handle this?
So to answer that, I'd like to introduce you to Nico. Nico is an AI agent I built directly inside Monday to automate the lead response process. One thing to know about AI agents is that they're designed to work behind the scenes. So their job's to monitor your workflows, recognize when something happens, and take action automatically. And because of that, I'm not going to wait for a new lead to come in live today. Instead, I'm just going to show you what Nico's already done so you can see the end result. So this is our leads board. When a new lead comes in, it comes into this board. Nico immediately recognizes there's a new lead, and his first job is to draft and send a personalized intro email to that lead. After that, he then logs the response time, so we can ensure that he is reaching out to those leads quickly. Speed to lead is very important here. Then he qualifies the lead based on the inquiry. Then he updates the CRM. So all of this happens without any real estate agent or assistant, touching that lead record. Now imagine that lead responds to Nico's initial email. Nico reads that response, extracts all of the important information, then he updates the lead record and then prepares a summary for the assigned agent. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So here we can see the email thread. We can see that first outreach from Nico to the lead here. That lead then responded. So then Nico sent out the final email, essentially deeming this lead pre-qualified, enough so that the assigned agent can go ahead and reach out. So the way that agent is notified when that time has come is that Nico posts an update in that lead record and tags that assigned agent. So instead of walking into a conversation cold, the assigned agent already understands who they're speaking with and what they're looking for. So ultimately, the AI handles the administrative work and the agent can just focus on building that relationship.
Thank you, Annie. All right, go Nico. That was a massive competitive advantage for the speed. And next up, once those leads turn into real opportunities, teams tend to hit a wall. So our next top question is, can AI translate contracts and business cards directly into a structured board without us manually having to type it all in?
This is probably one of our clients' favorite features because manual data entry is an absolute time suck, as we all know. So instead of opening a 20-page contract, manually copying information into the transactions board, you can simply upload the document directly into Monday.com and it does the work for you. So what it does is we have Monday AI reading the contract, extracting all of the key details automatically, populates the transaction record for you, and at the same time, it generates intelligent insights like contract summaries, flags any missing or unsigned items, and also recommends next best action. So essentially what used to take hours of manual administrative work now happens in just minutes, reducing data entry, minimizing human error, allowing your team to focus on moving the transaction forward instead of just entering this tedious information. So here we are going to upload a contract. We have our transaction name, and then we uploaded the contract here. And then we will see it start to populate. So as you'll see, all of these columns with the colorful little star here, those are all AI columns. Those will start to automatically populate as those the prompts and instructions in those columns start to extract the information that you set. So again, it takes away that tedious manual data entry. And what you'll notice is that we actually have two different types of AI working here. So first we have these, AI-powered columns that automatically extract these key details from the contract, things like buyer, purchase price, financing details, closing date, all of that stuff. So instead of manually entering all of that information, AI reads the document and populates those fields for us. But that's really just the beginning. So let's get over here. We've also configured several AI intelligence columns that go beyond simple extraction. So the first is a contract summary. Rather than reading through a 20-page, agreement, our transaction coordinators and agents get a concise overview of the transaction in just a few seconds. Next, we have missing and unsigned items. So AI reviews the contract for missing signatures, incomplete sections, dates that might be past due already, really anything that deserves attention, helping us identify potential issues early instead of discovering them at the closing table, which happens frequently, unfortunately. Then we have our recommended next action. Based on what's in the contract and where we are in the transaction, AI suggests what should happen next so that the team can keep things moving forward.
All right, that is a game changer. Thank you, Annie. We get a lot of questions, tactical questions around communication. So specifically, how can we use AI to instantly transform this wall of data into highly visual, digestible format?
There are a few different ways you can consume this information, and it really comes down to how the recipient prefers to view it. So let's start with a written report. This is where Monday Sidekick becomes incredibly useful. So Sidekick is basically my AI assistant inside Monday.com. So I'm going to open Sidekick here, and I can simply ask something like, give me a summary of the week's transaction. Great. So here's the transaction summary that I just asked Sidekick for. It's giving us portfolio at a glance, pipeline by stage, alerts and risk flags. It's really just giving that great high-level summary of what happened this week in my transactions board. But now I am going to ask for format this data into a PDF. Okay, leadership report is ready. So let's take a look at what this report looks like. So within just a few minutes, Sidekick generates a leadership ready report using the data that's already in my transactions board. What we did is we converted it over to a Monday doc that is, highly digestible. It's very simple, but it gives you exactly what you need. So from there, I can continue editing it. I can tag the leadership team in a board discussion here. So I can just make them aware that this report is finished. But also not everyone prefers to consume information in this type of report, right? Some people want a visual real-time dashboard, and that's where Monday Vibe comes in. So everything you're seeing here is powered by that same transactions board. The difference isn't the data, it's just how it's being presented. So instead of reading a report, in PDF form like we just saw, leadership gets an interactive real-time view of the business. So they can quickly see key metrics, identify transactions that may need attention, and even drill into any record for more detail. For example, when opening this high-risk transaction, I can immediately see why it was flagged and review the underlying information without having to search through multiple boards or documents. So whether your team prefers a written summary or a visual dashboard, you're working from the same AI-powered data. It's simply presented in the format that best supports the way they make decisions.
Great. Thank you so much, Annie, for walking us through those solutions so clearly. Now, moving on to our key takeaways here, because we're at the end of our webinar. When we talk about bringing AI into your real estate workflow inside Monday.com, it really boils down to the 4 key takeaways here. So first, it's about speed to lead. As Annie showed you in the workspace, AI-powered drafts and instant automation ensure your team delivers ultra-fast responses. And in this industry, a faster response directly maximizes your conversion potential. Second is data efficiency. We want to try and completely eliminate manual clerical data entry. And by automatically parsing information straight out of contracts and business cards into your boards, your agents can stop typing and start selling. And then third, we are building a unified OS. We need to move away from what we call those isolated islands of software. And with Monday, you have an integrated platform where AI doesn't live in a separate window. It lives directly in the context of your everyday data. And ultimately, this drives scalable growth. So when you optimize these workflows, you give the brokerage the foundational structure it needs to effortlessly scale both its revenue and its operations. So for everyone watching, we know that every residential real estate business and brokerage is structured a little differently. and you have your own unique workflows and your own spreadsheets and your specific pain points. So we'd like to have this limited time offer for you for a free AI analysis to help build the exact AI automation we showed you today. So we want to invite you to book this with us at Purple Plum Consulting. We'll look at your specific Monday.com setup and your current processes and map a clear roadmap to turn your AI curiosity into daily productivity. So please reach out to us via email and let us know if you're interested in this offer.
I definitely recommend taking advantage of that offer and utilizing that strategy session. It's quick, no pressure. It'll help identify the biggest opportunities to save time and really streamline, your workflows.
Well, now we'll transition over to the chat window to address the questions you've been submitting throughout the presentation. If you haven't typed yours in just yet, go ahead and drop it in the chat now. Mondays and Purple Plum is the best. How do I sign up for the 15-minute call? Thank you, Patty, for reaching out. Yeah, so just send us a quick email at Mark will be able to help you with the analysis and get you set up. Thank you for your interest. All right, so yeah, I want to thank you all for spending your morning with us. And if you're interested in learning more about how to tailor Monday.com specifically for your real estate operations, or if you want to claim that free AI workflow analysis we just talked about, obviously reach out to Mark here. Mark's our account executive here at Purple Plum, and he has a fantastic help at helping brokerages map out these exact types of solutions. And thank you again for joining Annie and myself today. And we look forward to helping you supercharge your workspace. Hope everyone has a wonderful Tuesday.